He's not gonna hurt me. You know what I mean? So it's good to beef with him than be cool with him because he can do some crazy stuff.
The situation between Tank and Mayweather has taken yet another unexpected turn.
The thing I want to touch on is the Floyd situation. You know, Floyd is Floyd. That's like I say, Tank is Tank, man. But at the end of the day, you know, the man is chasing.
Their rivalry has been going on for a long time, with Tank even saying he would knock out Floyd, and now it looks like those bold words are being tested as news about a possible fight between them starts to spread.
Say, yo, I had somebody reach out. I think I had my assistant reach out to him on social media, and I think we met in New York. After that, I think the next day he was on a yacht with me in Miami. You know how I'm moving around.
The much-awaited showdown between the undefeated legend Floyd Mayweather Jr. and rising star Gervonta Tank Davis has now been officially confirmed, and this announcement follows a heated and very public rivalry between the two that has only made the excitement even bigger.
You know, I wanted to introduce him to it, letting him know the world is bigger than just the USA. The world is bigger than just being in.
The relationship between Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis has always been complicated, as Mayweather, a 5-division world champion with a perfect 50-0 record, mentored Davis early in his career and brought him under Mayweather Promotions, where Davis, building an impressive record of his own, quickly climbed the ranks, won world titles, and developed a huge fan base.
Easy, entertaining work at that particular time. So I said, you know what? I like this.
However, problems in their relationship started to appear as Davis began to feel limited by Mayweather's control over his career, leading him to openly share his frustration about how his fights, promotions, and overall direction were being handled. And this tension finally came to a peak in late 2023 when Davis publicly called out Mayweather for not giving him the independence he believed he had earned.
Well, Tank announced that he's leaving Mayweather Promotions. What do you have to say about his departure?
My focus, honestly, is on Saturday.
The conflict went public when Davis turned to social media, sharing a series of tweets and Instagram posts where he voiced his frustrations, accusing Mayweather of focusing more on protecting his own legacy than properly supporting his fighters, and claiming that Mayweather was trying to stay relevant by living through the success of him and other young boxers.
Grooming somebody, getting them to a point, and then having some differences.
I've always been a gentleman. I've always been respectful.
Mayweather, never one to avoid controversy, fired back in an interview by brushing off Davis's complaints and calling them the reaction of a young, inexperienced fighter who doesn't fully understand how the business side of boxing works.
When I say certain things, they say, oh, he's hating. There's no different from when I talked about the thing with Gervonta.
Mayweather stressed that every decision he made was meant to protect Davis's long-term success and financial future, and he also made it clear that Davis's rapid rise in boxing was largely thanks to the powerful promotional system he had created.
And there's nothing like taking a kid that come from the same background as you and helping them and put them in a position to become a multi-millionaire.
As the war of words escalated, both fighters started making it personal, with Davis accusing Mayweather of being jealous of his potential and trying to hold back his career, while Mayweather hit back by questioning Davis's discipline and work ethic, pointing to times he missed weight or faced legal issues and saying he needed to grow up and take his career more seriously. Also adding that Davis was being ungrateful despite all the opportunities and support he had been given.
Someday, years later, I started working with him, helped him, pushed him.
The feud became even more intense during a discussion involving Mayweather and John Gotti, when Mayweather was asked whether he would take on Tank, and he responded in a calm but serious and threatening tone, saying it was disappointing to see someone he helped raise turn against him, but as fighters, fighting is what they do best, and if it takes stepping into the ring to teach him discipline, then so be it. Adding that Davis's recent wins may have boosted his confidence, but it was time he learned a real lesson, even suggesting that they should go ahead and make the fight happen.
You know, he's grew wings where he can fly, become his own boss. More power to.
The tension between Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. and Gervonta Tank Davis has become one of the most talked about stories in boxing today, as their path from mentor and student to bitter rivals has turned into a complicated mix of ambition, blame, and emotional fallout. The exact point when their relationship started to break down isn't clearly defined, but signs of tension were already there, as Mayweather, known for his careful and strategic approach to managing fighters, focused on slow and steady development, which likely didn't match Davis's desire to move up faster, and even after Davis won his first world title in 2017, a moment that should have reflected Mayweather's mentorship. Some observers noticed a change in Mayweather's attitude, possibly seeing his protege more as a rising threat than just a student.
You talked about leaving Mayweather on the Brian Custer podcast.
I didn't say I'm leaving, I said my contract was up.
So there's still a possibility that you may be signed.
The first clear public signs of tension appeared in 2020 when Mayweather, shortly after returning from retirement for an exhibition fight, posted an old training clip of Davis, which looked harmless on the surface but was interpreted by some as an attempt to stay in control of Davis's image. And then in 2021 Davis added to the speculation with a vague social media post warning not to idolize anyone too much because they will eventually let you down, a message that fans widely took as a subtle reference to Mayweather.
Of everything that Mayweather and Leonard Ellerbe have done for him, so I do want him to do what he is saying. Take control of your career.
Things escalated sharply in 2022 when Mayweather pulled out of a scheduled exhibition bout in Dubai at the last moment, citing unexpected issues, and Davis quickly reacted on social media with a harsh post accusing him of misleading fans and questioning where the money had gone, even challenging the image of Mayweather as undefeated, which brought serious doubt to his credibility and deepened the breakdown in trust between them. Later that year, the tension spilled into a press conference where Davis directly confronted Mayweather, accusing him of avoiding a fight and blocking his progress, while Mayweather, known for his quick wit, responded by mocking Davis's dance moves and criticizing his choice of opponents.
On saying, hey, this is my career, you had yours, I respect you from buying me a chain, buying me this, buying me that, take me on a jet, all that's great, but at the end of the day, I'm only going by his interview, you see.
Davis fired another sharp remark at Floyd, saying he hadn't faced a real opponent in years, accusing him of being afraid to step in the ring with him, and claiming he was being held back despite being ready to prove himself, but Mayweather quickly responded without hesitation, mocking Davis by saying he couldn't even handle basic skills properly and should focus on real competition instead of calling out retired legends.
You, Floyd Mayweather, for all the things you gave me. If the intentions was you just looking out for me.
Mayweather's remarks only made things worse, as many fans felt he was downplaying Davis's success to distract from his own time away from active fighting, while Davis refused to step back and doubled down by claiming he had achieved more at a younger age and secured bigger fight deals, turning the situation into both a sporting and financial rivalry. And he even went as far as saying he now felt confident enough to talk about knocking Mayweather out in person without worrying about the consequences.
Break away from the chains of somebody he still respects and respected.
Adding more tension, Mayweather made a surprising decision by appointing a new CEO for his promotional company, Leonard Ellerbe, instead of involving Davis's former trainer and mentor Roger Mayweather, which Davis interpreted as a personal betrayal and a power move against him, leading him to accuse Mayweather on social media of playing mind games and trying to control everyone around him. With both fighters still undefeated in different ways, fans began demanding a showdown, seeing it as a major clash of generations. Mayweather's defensive mastery against Davis's explosive punching power, and the financial stakes were enormous, with the fight expected to bring in huge pay-per-view revenue, but despite all the attention and excitement, talks eventually slowed down and failed to move forward.
It don't necessarily have to be leave Mayweather Promotions about just becoming that man, handle your own, responsibility.
Mayweather stayed mostly silent and shifted his attention toward promoting other fighters in his camp, which led to growing rumors that he might be avoiding a fight with Davis due to the risk of losing to his former protege, while behind closed doors the tension was even clearer, as Mayweather reportedly felt Davis still needed more time to develop as a fighter and as a person before stepping into the biggest spotlight. And this clash in views only deepened the gap between them as time went on.
Mayweather Promotions, they did a great job with me, but it was time for me to move.
Their relationship became noticeably colder and more hostile during training sessions, as Mayweather's earlier encouragement turned into sharp criticism and dismissive remarks, while Davis started pulling away from the Mayweather camp, training on his own and seeking guidance from other experienced fighters, a move many viewed as a clear step toward breaking free from Mayweather's influence and building his own identity in the boxing world.
Well, he was like, I gotta do that.
A lot of people don't know that what Floyd do. He said.
So you feel like it was a sub, like he was subbing you, like,
he was going at me. He was going at me.
The media also played a major role in escalating the conflict, as every statement, post, and interview from both sides was closely analyzed and amplified. And in one emotional interview, Davis openly shared his frustration, saying he once respected Mayweather and looked up to him, but now felt he was being held back so Floyd could stay in the spotlight, adding that he was done with that and determined to build his own path no matter what Mayweather thought, and this interview quickly spread. everywhere, strengthening the public belief that their relationship had broken down. Mayweather, known for his smart and calculated approach, responded by presenting himself as a misunderstood mentor, insisting that everything he did was meant to help Davis succeed in the long run and warning that rushing his career would only hurt him, saying he was there to guide, not restrict him, although many fans and critics felt his actions didn't always match his words, which only increased doubt and speculation around their true relationship.
Cause it's weird. I feel like y'all got, I would say love, hate, but it's been like the last interview you showed them love. This week it was whatever. But is that sometimes like, is it just like big bro, little bro seeing things different?
By this stage, the boxing world was split over the situation, with some believing Mayweather was truly trying to guide Davis through tough love and prepare him for the pressures of the sport, while others viewed him as controlling and more focused on protecting his own legacy than developing new talent. And as Davis continued to rise in popularity and achieve success, the idea grew stronger that he was the future of boxing, ready to move out of Mayweather's shadow and fully step into the spotlight on his own.
For his victory. But if you done something spectacular when you sparred me, I'm going to...
It is well known that Floyd Mayweather dominated boxing for almost 2 decades, becoming the sport's biggest global star and consistently headlining massive pay-per-view events, with the 4 highest-selling PPVs all featuring him against top-level opponents. And in his own view, it may be difficult for any future boxer to ever attract and hold the attention of fans on that same level again.
As far as pay-per-view, I think I got the, 4 top for pay-per-view. I still got a sharp mind. I think they were saying that Floyd Mayweather is, he's losing his memory.
More recently, Mayweather also stated that Gervonta Tank Davis is still far from matching his level of pay-per-view success, explaining in an interview that even though Davis can produce impressive numbers, breaking his records would be very difficult due to modern challenges like illegal streaming, which he described as people watching fights for free without paying. And he argued that this has made it harder for fighters today to generate the same revenue as before, since during his era pay-per-view was more controlled, allowing him to dominate the list of the highest-grossing events, including holding 4 of the top 5 PPV spots.
He can do crazy numbers. It's going to be hard to break my record because you have so many people stealing. So many people.
The highest-grossing pay-per-view fight in boxing history was the showdown between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, often called the fight of the century, which sold around 4.6 million PPV buys and brought in about $410 million in PPV revenue alone. And although many fans felt the fight did not fully live up to the massive hype, it still stands as a record that may remain unbroken for a very long time. If these two ever step into the ring together, it would likely generate massive attention and huge pay-per-view numbers, with the build-up expected to be explosive due to their long and bitter rivalry, as the former mentor and student story would add a deeply personal layer to an already historic matchup, and since Mayweather once trained Davis, both fighters would have a strong understanding of each other's strengths and weaknesses, making the stakes even higher.
I'm at that point where it's I passed him. And I'm doing it at a young age. Like when Floyd was 29.
Mayweather would come into the ring with his trademark defensive mastery, sharp boxing intelligence, and unbeaten record, built on careful strategy, timing, and elite counterpunching, making him one of the greatest ever, and going up against Tank would create a very unusual situation since he once helped train him, meaning he would have to rely on experience and fight IQ to predict Davis's every move and stay ahead in exchanges, while Gervonta Tank Davis would bring power, speed, and aggressive pressure, aiming to break through Mayweather's defense with explosive punches and constant offense to control the fight.
For time, he's the only one that drives a Mercedes. And last time I checked, we got fighters all around the world.
His punches are not only powerful but also very fast, making him a dangerous opponent, and since Mayweather once trained him, Davis also knows parts of Floyd's style and tactics, which could give him an advantage, especially as he is driven by the goal of stepping out of Mayweather's shadow and building his own name. The build-up is already full of tension, with Davis making the rivalry more personal at times, including involving Mayweather's family in the conflict, which has turned this into a much more emotional and heated situation. Knowing both fighters' personalities, the press conferences would likely be full of trash talk, mind games, and strong accusations, with Mayweather using psychological tactics to test Davis's confidence and mental strength, while Davis would respond with bold claims that he is ready to take over and defeat the legend. Both fighters have huge fan bases, and their rivalry story would likely attract global attention, with pay-per-view numbers expected to be extremely high even with today's issue of illegal streaming, as the idea of a former mentor and student facing off, combined with their personal conflict, would pull in not just boxing fans but also casual viewers drawn to the drama. Analysts would describe it as a classic clash of styles and eras, with Mayweather's defensive skill, timing, and ring intelligence going up against Davis's power and aggressive offense, as Floyd would likely rely on a counterpunching approach, using movement and defense to frustrate Davis and create openings for precise shots, while Davis would try to break through that defense, possibly targeting the body to slow him down and set up heavier punches upstairs. Early rounds would be key, with Mayweather aiming to control the pace using his jab and experience to read Davis's strategy, while Davis would likely start aggressively, trying to land early clean shots to disrupt Floyd's rhythm before adjusting and increasing pressure as the fight develops. As the fight moves into the later rounds, stamina and endurance would become very important, with Mayweather's well-known conditioning, calmness under pressure, and ability to stay controlled helping him stick to his strategy, while Davis would need to rely on his determination and toughness to keep pressing forward and land impactful shots. The rivalry would show in every exchange, with each punch carrying emotion as well as strategy, and the crowd would be fully engaged watching both a physical and mental battle unfold. Mayweather's experience in high-pressure fights would help him stay composed and make smart adjustments, while Davis's hunger to prove himself could push him to take more risks and increase the pace as he tries to break through Floyd's defense. In simple terms, the outcome of this fight would depend on a few key factors. For Mayweather, it would come down to shutting down Davis's power, staying defensively sound, and using precise counterpunching to avoid damage while scoring enough points to win on the judges' scorecards. For Davis, success would require breaking through that defense and landing consistent, powerful shots, as even a few clean punches could shift momentum, lead to a knockout chance, or influence the judges. No matter how it ends, the fight would leave a strong and lasting impact on the boxing world. In simple terms, the outcome of this fight would depend on a few key factors. For Mayweather, it would come down to shutting down Davis's power, staying defensively sound, and using precise counterpunching to avoid damage while scoring enough points to win on the judges' scorecards. For Davis, success would require breaking through that defense and landing consistent, powerful shots, as even a few clean punches could shift momentum, lead to a knockout chance, or influence the judges. No matter how it ends, the fight would leave a strong and lasting impact on the boxing world.
A lot of fighters think it's just this. Let's do it, come on. See, a lot of fighters think it's just this.
The post-fight aftermath would be just as compelling as the fight itself, especially if Mayweather were to lose, raising questions about how he would respond to defeat at the hands of a fighter he once mentored, whether he would openly respect Davis's improvement and success, or whether the personal tension between them would overshadow any display of sportsmanship.
I made so many sacrifices. Y'all looking at the end. Y'all looking at the end results. Y'all not looking at the shit where y'all go look at the interview and Zab gonna tell y'all.
For Davis, a victory would bring both celebration and added pressure, as defeating a legend would raise expectations around everything he does next, and he would need to handle the attention that comes with new fame while staying focused and continuing to build and develop his career at the highest level.